All right, we start the recording now for the 14 event. We click go live. As usually, you need to click go live twice. And we are live. Awesome! We are live for the 14 event from AI Catch and the 3D Revolution. All right, I see the list is start populating. Awesome! So for the people which are on the audience, please give me emoji, a sign or something so I can realize that you are actually hear me. I have the mic unmuted, but I just want to have that confirmation. So click one of the emojis so I can see you guys actually can hear me. Awesome. Thank you, Shai. Thank you. All right. All right, guys. So you can hear us. Awesome. So today, on Thursday, we're gonna start the number 14. 1-4. Wow, so many. Woohoo! The LinkedIn audio event call it from iSketch to AI Catch and 3D Revolution. My name is Sandu Baciu. I really am passionate about the AI. That's the reason I'm keeping all those events. I do have several speakers with us. Also, more to come to join us as well. Prior to diving into the meeting itself, I really like to have small technical announcements. I'm doing that to pretty much at every event. So the first one, I really like to be as interactive as possible. So feel free, guys, come to the stage here. How you can do that, you just see on the bottom right of the event on the chat over there. It's an emoji which looks like a hand. You need to click on that, basically raise your hand, and the system will let me to bring you on the stage. And again, I'm encouraging you, come with us. Really cool discussion. We have a lot of news for today. The other thing, also tomorrow it's an interesting event, very similar to this one. It was held by Kristen Tippett and John Porter. I'm one of the hosts over there invited. So it's tomorrow at the same time like today at noon Eastern time. I posted also in the links over there, so you guys, you can feel free to join us tomorrow as well. And to test the system, I see Mohammed raise the hand and I bring you on the stage. So another thing, when you come on the stage, you'll see the microphone is got a line cross, which means you are muted, so it's okay. When we're gonna have the discussion and you like to provide the feedback, make sure you click on the microphone so you get unmuted. So that will be the quick introduction. Again, my name is Sandu Baciu. I'm the host for this event. By trade, I'm a civil engineer, but also I do have a strong background on architectural. Actually, I do have degrees in architecture, 2 of them, and also on the industrial design. And I'm really passionate about the AI. And usually I was sketching for many years by hand stuff, but with AI, I realized I can save my time, and the render quality is getting greater and greater. So that's the reason I'm keeping those discussions. I really like people to share their experience. Good, bad, ugly, whatever. And it's good to talk between themselves, because this is how we bring the whole thing up. And there are a lot of positive things which we should talk about, because AI helps a lot of people and pretty much is everywhere. So that being said, with me on the stage, I have the invites Brian and Darian. We're gonna have other people join us as well. Let's start the quick introduction. So Brian, if you'd like to have a quick introduction about yourself, and after that, Darian.
Sure. Good morning. Hi, everybody. Sandy, thanks for having me, and thanks for doing this. I have to say, Sandu, I love hearing you mention the number of the episode number, especially being that you're from, if I'm not mistaken, Transylvania, actually. It just took me straight back to when I was a kid listening to the Count on Sesame Street. Count the numbers, number 14 today, and it was just pretty awesome. Anyway, I love your voice and your accent. All right. So yeah, I'm Brian. Hi, everybody. Sorry for that. I am doing my best to creatively change the world through creativity, and I'm currently creating a brand of launches creativity courses and workshops called Creatable Me that I'm building right now, and with the help of my friend Jericho, who's in the audience right now, and I'm sure he'll come up and share some stuff. He's amazing. Yeah, so loving AI. Oh, I'll just mention real quick, a quick plug for a Midjourney tutorial that I just did with Creative Spark that went live yesterday to get consistent characters in Midjourney. So you can check that out. And what else? And there's, tons of great new tools I've been discovering in the development of my course, and not just my course, but my brand, which I'm going to be happy to share later on in the call. So, but welcome and hi, everybody. Thanks.
Thanks, Brian. And also, just for me to make sure I'm not forgetting to mention it, there are a lot of people which they ask me, they due to the time frame, they missed this event. So I'm recording also this event. And for everybody on the audience and people which are coming on the stage, we're going to share a lot of information. Feel free to post on the comments all those cool links, information which you got, because that's how we like to share it with the people. So, if we talk of any particular products or stuff like that, let's make sure we put the links into the comments. Thanks, Brian. And now we're going to ask Darian to have a quick presentation about himself. Darian.
Hi, Sandhu and everyone else. Thanks for having me, and congratulations making it to 14. So a little background on me. I work at the intersection of commercial image creation using AI tools primarily, and also AI consultancy in terms of business transformation. I work as part of an innovation agency based out of Munich called Ionda, in which I am a Midjourney Maestro trainer. And I help organizations and also individuals develop their image making skills. It's really exciting to be on here, and I'm looking forward to some interesting conversations about the state of play in terms of AI.
Yes.
It's an interesting one.
Ton of news and ton of stuff here we discuss all the time. So a reminder for people which they are the first time here to this event. This event is actually divided in 3 parts. I'm trying to cover first the innovative part. The second is going to be on the news, and as I said, ton of news with the AI every day. Even yesterday, great news coming from Midjourney in their event over there. And the third one will be the 3D revolution. I'm always trying to talk about the 3D revolution. As always I said, yes, initially we sketch by hand. Now we're gonna have text to image. The next will be video. The next is gonna be movements and artistic stuff. But definitely the 3D is gonna come up from all those really cool images which everybody start creating with AI. So my quick introduction, I was thinking, okay, how should I kind of pitch to go in good details about the innovation ways of using AI. As you probably notice, a lot of people right now, they still doing sketches by hand, but the AI noticed, due to the randomness, sometimes whatever you sketch is not give you quite the same results. But with the new development of the AI, we do have actually products coming to represent the sketch as more accurate as the user wants, and kind of I like that. The easiest way with Midjourney, and I'm seeing they refining their algorithm as well. At least lately, they try to do a better job of keeping the initial reference. So on my side, always I'm doing a doodle, like a quick sketch. Usually it's actually on a post-it note, square format. And for people who like photography, use the square format. It's actually quite creative. But after I'm doing that sketch, I'm importing the file in Midjourney. And here is where the trick comes. Midjourney is able to identify what you sketch. So if it's a car, it's going to be able to identify it's a car. If it is a building, it's able to identify, okay, that's a building. So when you do your prompt, I realized, I didn't mention it before, but you have to think how you can describe your outcome, which you want to see, basically what you have in your mind. and you can do a brief description, as I'm calling like engineering prompt, like engineer prompt kind of, only keywords, or you can do it, describe it in with the natural language, and you can use even ChatGPT to do that. But the point is, whatever you sketch, help the AI to understand what actually you want to have it as an outcome. So in phase on that final outcome which you want, if it's a car or if it's a building, or even characters if you want, we can do that as well. And I realize that helps as well the AI algorithm to give you the good results. Of course, like I'm mentioning, ideal you should define the subject, you define the environment where it's placed, and at the end make sure you define also the mood or how you want to have that represented by AI in the artistic way, if you want it as a painting or a photography and so on. So having this in mind as the basis for AI, I think everybody can create really interesting things, and with the development of the algorithms, the representation is going to be far more closer than what you have in mind. And again, people are very creative. They have a lot of good ideas, but it's difficult, one, to express from what you have in your mind to the prompt, and the second thing is the interpretation of the prompt by AI based on the whatever reference they have, and that is how you have that final outcome. So that is what you need to know, and that's the innovative way of thinking how you can use the text to image to AI. So that will be my quick introduction. So that being said, I will ask my speakers, what other ways of using AI in an innovative ways you guys you have? And let's start with Brian.
Hi, sure. Okay, so yeah, first of all, I love all of that. I think there's another really great tool that I really like called Promea.com or Prome AI. I don't know how. I think it's PROMEAI.com. So it's like Prome or Prome AI, and they have a really great and they have a really great tool that allows you to put a sketch in, and it turns it into an image like Midjourney. But the beauty of Promea is that it really honors the sketch. So I think I've seen some good. You've been getting some good results, Sandhu. But I believe that it still kind of takes the prompt or the image as kind of a point of reference, and then it sees it's a car, and then it does other cars, but it might change the camera and do all kinds of things, right? Am I correct in that?
Yes, that's that's what I see it as well. But where I use it mostly on the architectural side. So kind of I was looking more on the interior sketches, and the reference obviously is give you an architectural render. So again, I did not go on the details with specific assets or objects to know exactly the difference.
Right. So Promea has a sketch rendering feature that you just throw a sketch in, and it will completely it'll be like as if you gave the sketch to an artist who can then take it and color it and add shading and lighting, or even make it look like a photograph. It'll do all those things depending on what you want. If you want it to look like a refined sketch, if you want it to look like a painting, if you want it to look like a photograph, you can do all those things, and it will still be the same image that you put in the sketch, from the beginning. So it's pretty cool, and you can get tons of different variations, and versions and styles of that same sketch, and it will always still look like, the character will be in the same position and all the things. So it's very powerful. I definitely recommend using that or checking it out. It's great for kids too, who want to, turn their little stick drawings and things into, see their imagination come to life. It's powerful.
Yeah, and also kind of settle down the randomness which Midjourney have. Sometimes it's really getting wild. And I noticed that as well. It's actually closer to what you actually like to have, and that is one of the biggest downside of the AI, at least at the early stages. A lot of people say, yeah, I want that, but I get it, but not quite there. So yeah, no, really cool. Thanks for the feedback. Darian, on
Yeah.
your side, how other innovative ways you find interesting and good to share?
Well, thanks for asking. Yeah, I'm looking forward to trying Chrome AI for sure. That sounds really interesting, and I have a son who I think will really enjoy that since he loves to draw and make his own comic books. So yeah, it's a funny question for me to personally ask because I have a personal way of looking at Midjourney use that is seemingly intrinsic to me or is fairly unique. I'm sure other people do it, but I'll say it out loud. I kind of like to lean into the unknown aspect of it somewhat and work with it in terms of that randomness, but push the randomness closer towards what I'm looking for. So I'll be more specific. I think, in terms of innovative ways of approaching how we prompt or how we get the results we want, I am curious about upcoming developments as they relate to things like, on the horizon, GPT-5 and things like voice to text being more accurate and things like that. But I often wonder about this question about what's bringing us closer to our original intent. And I love using reference images. I think you do, especially in Midjourney, you often find that if you use reference images, there will be changes definitely applied to an extent. And then I think it's up to you how far you want to go down the rabbit hole of kind of re-rolling images to get closer to the original image that you dropped in. There are ways to maybe tie it in a little bit more as well. But I mentioned the voice prompting because I am interested how that will fare in the future and whether or not we'll be speaking out loud more conversationally in terms of traditional storytelling with our voice, and maybe that will align us closer to maybe there eventually be a positive feedback loop in terms of us using our voices and using our imaginations to say what we want to achieve and getting closer to realizing that with the tool. I don't have the answer for that, but that's probably my biggest interest, and I like to use different approaches, ideally, to sort of get the prompts out there, really. So sometimes I will just sit there and try and say it out loud, in a very basic way, and I sometimes advocate that, if you're really struggling, you could always videotape yourself saying it, or say it to someone else, or I don't know. I think there's a lot of ways to approach it.
Yeah, no, definitely, and we don't have the answer now, but we'll have it shortly. The things evolve so fast and evolve in both directions. I mean, the human impact the AI, but at the same time, AI may impact a little bit on the human as well. From the audience, more people came, so we have also Jericho and Wanka. But also Diana, the third invite here, join us. So Diana, if you like to have a quick introduction about yourself, and if you want to share with us the innovative ways which you are using at Lemon AI.
Yes, sure. Thank you, Andrew, so much for invitation. Love your show and audio event, and that it's consistent. This is just genius. Very many people probably are getting their insights and news from you, so great for hosting this. My name is Diana, and I'm a co-founder of AI Lemon Academy. With Sachin Kamath, we are on a mission to help creatives adapt in AI age and help them learn how they can implement AI in their creative workflow. I am inviting everyone to join at after 40 minutes. We are hosting a free workshop. You can find information on AI Lemon Academy page. I hope that would be interesting for you if you want to learn about advanced prompting, about image manipulation with AI. Please welcome. It's for free. I want also to give a thought on previous way of approaching Midjourney and prompting, if I may. Recently, my partner Sachin Kamath, who is also a co-founder of AI Lemon Academy, had shared with me his more structured discovery how to approach the control in Midjourney and Stable Diffusion and overall in different AI image generators. So he had come up with prompt crafting funnel, which has many elements, but I'm the most curious about the start of it, because it helps so much to gain the control of the outcome. And it starts with like creating concept, creative brainstorming, then picking the keywords using different kind of features like describe to get those keywords, so like following a lot of AI image creators who are sharing and educating people on what keywords are the best to use, and then using his prompt formula that he had developed, which contains of different like 8 elements, and using different parameters to control and manipulate the image. So if anyone is curious to learn more about it, please join us, and we will share that prompt crafting funnel with you guys. I hope that it will inspire you to have more structured approach towards generating and visualizing your concepts with Midjourney and your favorite image generators.
Yeah, it's definitely really good control. You know, like any artist, you want to control what you create, and just also people, you know, look to Diana post your latest one. You know, that the lady, which starts from the young age and ends up, you know, on the the age passing time. I really like that. You know, it shows a lot of controls, and it's really something interesting, which I strongly, I suggest to check more on it. Thanks, Diana. With that, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I also wanted to compliment your latest design and architectural inspiration. Super inspired to share them over the panel that will be hosted in Design School in Vienna. So I hope we can talk about it later.
Yeah, I'm trying. Actually, as you guys notice, I'm trying to make this event as diverse as possible. I like to have as many industries involved. I'm in construction, but of course, I do have my solid architectural background. Next week, also, I'm trying actually to focus more on the architecture side and share different informations about it. We're gonna get to the news shortly, but I like at least to have the feedback for the people which join us on stage. So let's go in the order as you come. So Mohammed, Jericho, and Nuwanka. So Mohammed, we'd like to have your feedback as well.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm thrilled to introduce myself. Also a civil engineer like Sandhu. So whenever I use AI, it has reduced the time of effort I have to put in getting my tasks done. So I'm putting use of all the things what I can in the prompts, and I'm trying to find a sequence of words where I can organize all those words, try to find a concept, whether it is a chemical engineering one, whether it is related to genomic engineering. So the scope is really high in AI. We can actually use it in all the applications, and I don't know where it can help me in progressing towards a more progressive work atmosphere. Have to tell Sandhu has really inspired me to get introduced to the AI technology. So whenever I have time, I just go to his links, I check out the pages, and I gain information and knowledge. And I try to, I don't overthrow the knowledge, but I try to understand what basically where I can apply, and try to use it in construction activities. Why? Because I still have not seen any construction bots doing construction as of now. So it still takes time for me to learn the dynamic programming languages that have to be included into the artificial robots. So I'm planning, Sandra. I'm planning and I'm learning. I'm upskilling with what AI technologies we have. The prompt and the instigated results are really motivating me every day, and they are pushing me to take it as a common picture and further move forward to getting the things done on the right places.
Yeah, thank you. I'm actually honored. I really like people to explore it. You know, my initial intention was share what I'm learning. You know, I'm doing that anyway every day professionally, but
really happy to be associated, sir.
but yeah, no, that's how we learn. And again, AI is so dynamic. Whatever you learn today, tomorrow will be different. And like there are not too many things like that. Like it's so fast. It goes so fast, and it actually helps you too, because it makes you a little bit more flexible, in the sense that you have to move fast. We are living in a very fast developing society, and the future is going to be like that. I don't think it's going to be a slow down. I think from production point of view, and whatever your goals are, back like 100 years ago, people, they make the goals per each year, right? Or 5 years look ahead. Right now it goes so fast. People are actually having big goals in a very short terms, and I'm seeing that trend too, which is really good actually, because you can create stuff faster, better, and obviously it's back to the progress. The whole humanity evolves at the end. Thank you very much. With us we have Jericho as well. Jericho, I'd like to have your feedback as well, again on the topic which you like. We already opened like 3-4 topics already.
Yeah, we're definitely into the show today. It's been great. Definitely have a few friends up here. Diane, it was nice to hear about you. I've definitely seen you around, but I hadn't really heard it from your perspective yet, so that was great to be introduced to what you guys are doing. I wanted to kind of take it back to the sketch part, and then I guess kind of where I was going to end up anyway. Sandhu would bring it right back to the news, so we can transition right from there after Nwaka. But the sketch to image thing is really interesting. I've been watching David Barona. He's been posting lately some collaborations with his son, and his recent one, or one of his recent ones, was his son had drew a dragon in marker, and using colored marker, Midjourney picked up the same coloration, and then variations of the dragon and whatnot. So it did really well. But I wanted to talk to the people in the audience about the workflows and setting up for that, because not all of us can sketch. Not all of us are able to draw. I grew up in a very diverse family in that regard. My father was a career artist, a serial entrepreneur in many creative ventures, but his primary bread and butter was life-size murals on the side of old small town buildings and things all over Texas, United States. My mom, on the other hand, self-proclaimed couldn't draw a stick figure to save her life, and so I've been working in a technology or an application for several years before the introduction of generative AI, Ibis Paint, and you can take just about any image and bring it into Ibis Paint, and it will ask you if you want to extract a line drawing from that image. And if you extract a line drawing, that essentially turns it into a sketch. And so if you're talking about architecture, anything like that, you could take any image that you find online, bring it into Ibis Paint, extract a line drawing, save it as a PNG file, and then use that in your workflow, throw that into Midjourney, and then go from there and see what, or even use Ibis Paint to manipulate it, erase lines, add lines. There's rulers, grids. I mean, it's really intuitive, and it is a freemium application. So there's more than enough tools that you can use for free. Then you can watch like 30-second ads, and you'll have like 18 hours of free access to all the different pen types, all the different brush types, all of these different things. So I'd encourage people that are using generative AI in their image generation or their creative process to also still consider the fact that while AI is developing, it's not capable of everything, and we're seeing these limitations. And people like Diana, Darian, Brian, the guys that have been in creativity for a long time, or are using AI on a consistent basis and are really diving into these workflows with prompt engineering and things like this, unless you have the time to do that, or are paying someone to consult with you or train you or whatever, consider some of these other applications that kind of came before AI to help you in your workflows and make AI work more for you to gain control over the outcomes, and think creatively outside of the box in that regard.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, this is how the idea comes. Like the session becomes a brainstorming idea. Really cool stuff. Um, let's go to Nuanka as well. Nuanka, thank you very much to rejoining us. If you can provide
Thank you, Sandu.
your feedback, thank you.
So I have a I have a statement, then I have a question based on my understanding of the statement I'll make first, and this ties into what Jericho. Well, basically, this brief basically would have taken a five-week run to get a campaign together and get it into market. These guys took the brief the day they got it. 15 hours later, deployed.
Okay, we'll reach back.
So writers, directors, writers and actors are on strike, and one of the main contentions is AI. Now, my question is, if Hollywood concedes to their demands, and then you wait 10 years on that contract, does Hollywood end because some kid in their basement 10 years from now can make a blockbuster movie with complete artificial everything generated within the scope of maybe 2 days and $100, versus Hollywood having to pay these actors millions of dollars and put on big productions, right? Is the compute power going to be there in 10 years? Is the ability to do it for $100 going to be there? And will writers ever have a job again? And will actors ever have a place again? Taking into account that these guys put together in 15 hours with comparable figures, models that don't exist on Earth. Does this end Hollywood? Is my question.
I'd like to jump in on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Me too.
I mean, I certainly can't answer that question. I don't know if anybody can answer it. Nobody knows what the future looks like. It's changing so fast and things are so crazy. I like to think that there's an amalgamation of everything, will continue, that, the human spirit, the need and desire to act, to create, to do things by hand, all the things, like, we're going to still do that, maybe even more than ever in some ways. Maybe I feel like there's going to be more of that in the way, in the sense that more people who aren't really able to do it now, like, will be able to do it more than, because other things will be freed up. Maybe you won't have to work as, the kind of drudgerous jobs we have to do. So, I think there may be a huge creative explosion on that front. So hopefully that's what's going to happen. But I wanted to say, I read an article probably 15, maybe 20 years ago. It was quite a while ago. Maybe not that long, maybe 15 years ago. But it was an article about the Phoenix generation, which this writer was calling the next, this generation of kids who are coming up, who are born with basically an iPhone in their hand, and they come up with technology. It's so ingrained in their lives, I mean, especially these kids today with AI. I didn't even really talk about AI too much, but I mean, now it's even tenfold, right? Or a millionfold, I don't know. And, these kids are so, have the power to create. They understand these tools and everything so much. It's so ingrained that they're going to be able to create things far beyond what we've been doing. And so, and not only that, but because of the need for change in the world, because of all the destruction and the the insane chaos and everything that's happening in our world, that these kids are going to come up wanting a better world and not subscribing to the world that we created for them. And that's going to include blockbuster movies with gratuitous violence and all that crap that's in there. They're not going to want that anymore. That's according to this article. They're going to, which made sense to me. They're going to want something better. They're going to want something that's more human, that's more, whether it's made with AI or not, it can still be more human in terms of story, right? Or it's going to be more, grounded in I don't know what they care about, and it's not going to be these, it's not going to be car chases and big explosions anymore, I don't think. And even if it is, it's going to be on their terms and whatever. So, and what it talked about was how Hollywood is going to eventually. First, they were going to struggle and race to catch up to what these kids are doing and try to emulate it, and eventually they were just going to go away because everybody's going to be able to be a creator. So that's the answer that I think kind of makes sense. And but I'd love to hear any other thoughts.
Yeah, no,
Sure. Great question.
Can I just say one thing on that?
yeah, go ahead.
And it's very, very short. If everyone's a creator, where's the audience?
If I may.
Okay, Darian.
Still everyone.
Exactly.
We're creating for ourselves and each other.
It's interaction. But go ahead, Darian.
So, Nuanka, it is a really, really interesting question, and I'll bring it back around to AI in a sec. But I think the question is almost pre and post AI, and it has to do with scale and audience. And I think there's a couple of facets to this, which is that ultimately, in terms of Hollywood's impact has been so profound because of its ability to scale, particularly in terms of marketing and distribution, and that has hinged around the collegiate experience of audiences in small dark rooms or big dark rooms, right? So I think this speaks to the question around whether cinemas will die because of streaming as well, which I don't think they will, to be honest, because I think unless cinemas and the cinematic experience pivots to be something more experiential, it won't be able to compete with people's phones and the social feedback loops and experiences they get at a sort of granular level in that manner. But I'll also bring it just quickly around to AI, and in the context of something that isn't really getting a lot of press, but it is really important to the landscape, and it's the simulation, which sounds really ominous and is kind of ominous depending on how you look at it. But it's you can all go look it up. The simulation, I believe it's thesimulation.com, or the simulation is the kind of the product and experience that is being touted by a company that is. If you believe it, because there are some people who say that it's a hoax, but they are presenting it very openly as a research project that they are intending to release on Twitter. They are showing how with an engine that they have built, kind of an easy way to think about it is it's like you're looking at The Sims. So we all know The Sims, you're looking down on like a diorama of characters moving around a cityscape or whatever. And those characters represent IP. So in the context of what they're doing, they're using South Park for research purposes. And what they've got is they've got these bobbleheads against a sort of 2D angled background of the town in South Park. And they're moving around, and these are AI agents. And they have been fed with vast amounts of IP from South Park that enables you to essentially write in a prompt based on certain parameters to select the characters that you want to appear, and hey presto, or not quite hey presto, but presto, you essentially generate your own episodic content. And what they're touting and showing is they're showing 10-minute segments of full episodes or 10-minute episodes of content with unique novel jokes, content and so on, that feels like you could be watching an episode of South Park. It's not perfect. There are issues, especially with some of the voices and so on. But by and large, it is a South Park experience, and it's derived from completely separate IP. So does this mean, this means massive, huge things for individuals, sure, who want to develop their own stories, worlds, episodic content. But is that going to mean that you get in front of more eyes? Possibly not, because Hollywood's one of its biggest powers has been the ability to get in front of, so many people. And I'll give you a good example. The Blair Witch Project, which is years ago now. Some people on this might not even remember it, but I acutely remember anywhere up to a year before the film actually came out, there was just the symbol of the wooden man from the Blair Witch Project, and it was touted, it was being paraded on posters and on buses, and this was an almost sort of subliminal marketing campaign that lasted for a long time prior to the film. And for anyone who doesn't know, it apparently cost between $10,000 and $30,000 to make, and then Steven Spielberg and a few other people saw it and got involved, and they spent, you know, millions on promoting it globally, but then it went on to turn $180 million worldwide. That wouldn't have happened without getting in front of the eyes of every single person that it possibly could, and that is a really hard thing to do at scale. So whether you're an individual, whether you're Hollywood, the biggest challenge is going to be, can you do it at scale and build cohesive experiences around content? And I think that title or that crown is going to ultimately end up in the hands with those with the willingness to do so.
Yes, that is really interesting topic. I think we can spend the entire time only on this topic, but I want to mention two things. First, thanks Dr. Astafa to come on stage. My quick one on this one, I'm trying to give relatively short. It's also contextual. People in the past several things, they change, you know, like generation baby boomers, generation X. Yes, we grew up with looking to the movie, and yes, Hollywood is strong, but starting with the approaching of the year 2000s, the younger generation do not grow up as much with the movies. They grew up mostly with the games, so therefore that's the reason the gaming industry rise up so far. And if you guys who doesn't know, the budget for a movie right now is actually less in comparison with the budget for a huge game. That might change with AI. I'm almost sure actually it's going to change, but we see the trend. I think that is where the shift is going to be. I know there are a lot of social impacts. You know, people think about the jobs, but there are avenues to steer it toward the new trends. And back to who's going to look to the movies, or what will be the audience. Me personally, with AI, I think this notion of doing work and having fun in the same time, I think it's going to be really coming, and people, they will spend their time kind of doing the same thing in the same time. That means the standard 8 hours per day that is out of the window. I think this AI also has got a huge impact on how people they are working, how people they are interacting, what's the notion of the entertainment. So I'll keep it like that. As I said, I really like to have it short, but it's changing. That's the point. You know, AI is fast, it's productive, and change everything, including the generation, including what was a really trend 10, 20, 100 years ago. So that's what I like to have as a feedback. Nywanka, you came back. I really like to give you the opportunity also to have your feedback as well. And after that, we go to Dr. Astafa. You are mute, Nywanka.
Sorry. I was. I really appreciate how this app lets you exit and keeps the audio moving. Not all apps do that. Anyway, so. Yeah, to speak to what Darian was saying, I you know, like, okay, so yes, marketing budgets, and you can see that in the Barbie movie. They're like Barbie and Oppenheimer, obviously that like those movies would have done nothing without incredible marketing, and that Barbieheimer sort of attribute, making it a competition, making it like, oh, go see both of them sort of dress up, like, amazing. They knocked that out of the park. But in an interesting way, if someone can make the quality of movie, right? I'll give you an example. There was like a week ago or 4 days ago, someone released a trailer for a movie. I don't remember the context, but like, the beginning starts, they were among us, something, there's like all these aliens. The visuals are incredible. And this is a trailer for a movie they made, I think on Midjourney, within, or whatever video AI prompting thing there is. They did it within a day. And this is today. So I really believe 10 years from now, if people are making 2-hour movies in quality with writing and scripting and visuals that are comparable to what's in the cinemas now. And you don't even have to go on something like Netflix to watch it. You can just watch it on YouTube or a personal website. Even if Hollywood is marketing to millions of people, the ability to go to a free website and just the movement of social media and the traction that things can get virally adopted, I think it decimates them. And I for sure think that agreeing to the terms, and don't get me wrong, I am 100% behind the unions. I think the unions are right, and I think Hollywood is disgusting for what they're trying to do to them. But I also see Hollywood's side where if they agree to these terms, they're not going to exist in 10 years. That's just my opinion.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Correct. It's back to the evolution, and they have to adapt in a way or another. No doubt about it.
Hey, let me.
Yeah, go ahead, Brian. And
No,
after that,
well, I
we'll
just wanted
Dr.
to jump.
Rastafa. Go.
Yeah, I just wanted to respond with, according to in his comment about Dr. Rastafa's comment about Netflix or whatever. We're going to have other ways to see it. I actually was just invited to a new AI Films. It's actually called AI Films, which is the Netflix for AI films that these guys are creating. It was sent to me by Cesar Romero Pose, who is the founder of AI Film streaming platform, and they're actually creating that already. So I just wanted to put that out that that's already a thing that's happening.
Yeah, no, cool, thanks. Dr. Ras.
Oh, hello, guys. Hello, Sandhu,
Hi.
audience, speakers. I know it's, I'll be quick, but I have so much to say. You guys have so much interesting topics. So I would start back with what Jericho, Jericho said something important when he was talking about checking out stuff outside of AI. And I wanted to speak on that briefly and just say, also, the way things are changing so constantly, I think one of the best things for like newcomers and stuff, which I've had to do myself, is just pick something and be consistent with it, because so many things are coming out. If you just jump on the next thing and the next thing, you're not going to build a solid foundation to actually grow and understand where your place is in this whole AI ecosystem. So I think that's important, to take some personal consistency and pick something and anchor yourself to that and then begin, as opposed to jumping on the next hot thing.
Yeah, but I can jump on the news if you want. No, I fully agree, yes. And I can give examples on the 3D just to touch it in the last, 12 minutes left. Like Blender, always I'm making the example. Also, you need to let the product ripe. Like everything appears. Blender appeared in 90s actually, and in 90s, yes, I knew about it. I didn't look too much, but after 10 years, I see, actually they do some interesting stuff. At the time I was doing SketchUp, actually I was doing some with Google. They just bought it and they tried to do some testing. They made a contest. I win that contest, and I helped them out, debugging the SketchUp. But the point where I'm going is people got involved and the product got better and better. And most of the time, you don't look to the right new product because it needs some iteration. It needs some time to become a really good product. And when become a good one, people are coming, in masses. And I'm seeing that with AI as well, basically. Same for Midjourney. And talking about the news, Midjourney actually in probably around 2 weeks they will release version 5.3. Looking to the past, I think it might be even earlier. They also said it's another version 6 which is coming, maybe in a month, maybe in September. We'll find out. I do not know exactly what will be the difference between them, but I know in 5.3 they want to improve the content and also how address some of the concerns which people have, like having misrepresentations and or stuff which are not represented, biases and stuff like that. So they want to address that. And the other thing which they said, they are working on a web version. And also another interesting thing which I want to mention, they have a discussion with Discord. So basically, Midjourney being probably the number one application in Discord, they reach to the point where actually they discuss with Discord, and Discord is making changes based on what they are saying. I think that is quite impressive, because if you want to make a comparison, it's basically the apprentice become to the level of the master, and we're gonna see how that will go. But if they will go toward the web version, there are other stuff also which will imply it, and that means maybe the users, and Discord is not so bad, but a lot of people, they complain about Discord. So when they go on the web version, the stuff will be probably a little bit more interesting over there. So that will be with the Discord. I do have other news on architecture. We talk about those renders, the Prome.ai. It's another version also. Veras is the name. So basically, those you can add it as a plugin in different softwares, and based on the 3D which you have, they can render it in a certain way. I put the links, you guys, you can check on that. Again, we kind of trying to rush through the news, but is any other news which you guys want to share with us for people on the stage? Go ahead.
Sandhu, I just want to.
I did want.
Yeah, Sandhu.
Did you guys see that UPS? They actually put in a patent for ChatGPT 5.
Yes, well, ChatGPT also has got a lot of competitors. There are right now also options which are free, and in the comments I put I put one which I find it funny. It's a version of ChatGPT which you can put it in a floppy disk. But yes, I was aware of it. Go ahead, Mohammed.
Yeah, nice conversation. Just want to add on something, Sandhu. I used to watch a lot of YouTube videos which are not in the YouTube network as of now. I used to watch a lot of cloning animal videos of dragons and the levitation of buildings or stones done through the sound, or through a lot of innovations were involved in getting the things done in this on this planet. So I just wanted to see, not all those videos are available on YouTube. So I believe that as the age progresses, the trending technology which was there has been forgotten by the other people. So I want to see more advances of where people will get a euphoric moment of where they have not ever seen a moment of creation done by creators. So I wanted to add this to Nuam.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. And talking about music, actually, I posted another one. I'm not sure if you guys should notice the Suno.ai. I tested. I think it's fun, and also it's back to the combinations. Then is Midjourney. It's creating images, gorgeous images, but it's probably not good enough. I think that the logic next step is to have video. But video without sounds also is not so fun. So I'm not sure if they want to touch on the audio side or not. But that is how I'm saying. With AI, people want kind of the full package, and the great thing is you have so many options for the visual side as still image, basically not moving. So many options for the video side. Again, you can use either as a reference from an image and develop that, and I can throw some names, CapChat, and there are many others also, Runaway and so on. And the next one will be the video side. Basically, that becomes a video, and you want to have some music to that or some audio as well. So now we're gonna see all this boom on the audio side. And Sono was just something which I tested. I found it funny. There are ways to improve it. You can use it in Discord as well, but it's very simple actually. Like just type over there, create, or I don't remember exactly how it was the command. It was /chart, I believe, or something like that, and boom, it's creating. You type whatever you want, either as a text or you can use ChatGPT. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is because with AI, I see and I mentioned that in the previous events as well. I see the platforms start interacting with each other. For instance, on the previous event, we have Michael from PicGen, but in PicGen, underneath the hood, they have both Midjourney and Stable Diffusion, the latest version, X.L 1.0. But now I'm seeing also the other platforms like this Sono, it's actually linked with the chat GPT. So therefore, there are some interaction between the platform, and I think a lot of people doesn't talk about that. But the interaction between the platform, it's quite interesting because we have so many products, but also in the same time the product they start working between themselves. So that will be on the news side. I want the I want your feedback as well, but please let me also 2 minutes for the 3D side toward the end. So any other parts on the news or feedback from what we just said, Jericho?
Sandu, if I may.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to very quickly add, I agree with you fully, and what Picton are doing is amazing. I also think, interoperability is definitely the future. One interesting sort of overlap, while it's not strictly speaking, AI definitely feeds into the AI sphere, is USD, or Universal Scene Description, which has just been galvanized under a sort of moderating panel of Apple, NVIDIA, and 3 other companies that I can't remember the names to right now. But essentially, it's the process and methodology and system that Pixar have been using to enable them to utilize their assets across multiple films since, I believe, the mid-2000s. Apple are very interested in this, not least because people are going to need to be able to create for the Vision Pro range or the Vision range and that world. And it also feeds into conversations around the metaverse, in inverted commas. But yeah, I think what you're talking about is true. Interoperability and is paramount. And as soon as somebody is able to truly get on moving images, moving mouths as well, we start reaching into a very different place with regard to narrative content.
Yes.
We're not there yet.
And those disruption, you mentioned Pixar, and I really like, I'm not sure if you notice, even George Lucas have Industrial Light and Magic, but quickly I will say it in less than a minute. Pixar revolutionized everything on the 3D. They were the first ones which actually invent a lot of softwares, and they have that jumping lamp going all around. But that is from 80s actually, So they were really cool and pushing the edge, and I'm seeing those kind of pushing edges happen with AI at a faster pace. And talking about the IRM, the biggest change which George Lucas did, and a lot of people didn't notice when he started, it was the film. So everything was doing the physical film, developing the film, and he made it digital, and that was a big, huge change. And obviously the entire CGI industry will follow it. And those kind of changes, for him took years, and he's got even a quick documentary on that. I strongly suggest you guys to see it. It's so interesting. But that is how you can see the disruption and how the evolution between the computer and whatever it's in the past is in the past, and as fast as you move, the results will change the future. And that being said, I will quickly switch toward the 3D. There are also programs over there, softwares. I want to mention the Common Sense Machine, CSM. I really like it. With this one, you can actually extract a mesh from a 3D. It's incipient right now. It's pioneering. That mesh, in my opinion, needs a lot of workout after you extract it. It goes very well for organics and stuff like that, and there's no doubt. But I see the trend. That's the most important thing. I think right now we reach to the apogee, the highest point of getting really cool images, really close to what the user wants. But they are images. So the next one, opening the whole spectrum of what else can be done, is going to the obviously video and sound, but the 3D. 3D is going to open the gates for 3D printing, productions, taking out all that randomness which AI have and be more specific. But still, in the same time, garbage in, garbage out. Still, we need to take that object, that mesh, and clean it up. But if that is going to become a standard and is going to become really close to the image, I think that is going to change the future a lot. And that being said, I know there are other people in the audience which they are close to that. Feel free to give your feedback. Maybe on architectural side, it's also look x.ai. If you guys want to talk about that, we can share that information as well. So, Jericho?
Yeah, I've recently, like we talked about before, Sandu, I have a background in construction and various other fields, but in construction, it is very interesting because you and I have shared some things recently about 3D in construction and being able, spatial recognition, being able to take a bare job site and be able to basically 3D mock up your entire build before you build.
Yep.
That gives incredible power to not only your construction firms, but also your engineering firms, your architectural firms, even your waste disposal, yard layout, rental. I mean, everyone benefits from things like that. And so the 3D space is definitely something that's going to continue to take off. I think this is something that we're going to see more and more converging with AI, using AI to get better and better. We're watching, literally, there's companies popping up that are 3D printing homes with unique concrete that AI has helped them make, and then using little small rebar dowels that they just shove through the concrete as it gets printed. It's very interesting concepts that are happening. And I'll go back to what Mustafa was talking about a minute ago, and I know we're right on time, Sando. I'll keep it really short to try to tie everything back together. But it is Nuanka, it's supply and demand. Hollywood, everything, the demand has always been there for entertainment. The supply has been very limited. So now the supply is AI. It's generated, to Brian's point. Cesar, I've been connected with him for a while. He is building the Netflix of AI. That's his goal. That's what he's doing with his life. That's his mission. And so the supply and demand is shifting all over the place, and AI is kind of spearheading that. And it's very interesting to watch this whole dynamic shift. And back to Mustafa's point, find something, whatever you're doing. If you're a tactician in any way, shape, or form, you're building a certain thing, find those tools that are the best right now, and then become the best at them and leverage them to your best ability. But I don't normally do self-plugs, but to that same point, you also have to have people in this world of AI that have their finger on the pulse of just about everything that you can come to for resources for those individual things that you're trying to do. And that's where I've positioned myself. Myself and Darian work a lot in that space. So if there's something that you're really working for and you're really looking for those certain tools, please follow me, connect with me, reach out, because that's really what I'm aiming to help do. And I don't do it for the monetary value. I do it just to help you fulfill what it is you want to do.
Yep, thanks.
Can I just say something super quick?
Yes, of course.
Anyone out there who's looking to bring their skills in AI to the Middle East, particularly Oman, reach out to me.
Yep, no, thanks, appreciate it. Well, that brings us to the end of this really cool event. I will continue also next week. As I said, probably will be good also to continue this discussion. Also tomorrow, I will hosting the John and Christine event is tomorrow at noon Eastern time. The link to this event is also on the comments. Thank you very much to everybody who participate, to my invites, to the people in the audience, and the courage people which came to the stage to share their opinion. I really appreciate it. As I said, I recorded this event. It's looked like I have some snags with the internet a little bit, but I will share the link to the audio event, and also I will post it on YouTube so you can share it with everybody. Thank you again, and we talk next week or tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.